Knowing is not enough. Recently, I've come back to a book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I've read a lot of books, and some of them have some great teaching, some of them were kind of bland, some of them are just talking about nothing really. And by reading all this, I kind of have found what actually is useful and what's actually important to me. And that's the importance of actually having experience and actually doing things in that. And one of the things I've learned from this is that, I read this book first 3 years ago. And if I had have actually been open to letting that knowledge come into me, then I would be in a completely different place to where I am now. And I think that's the thing, is that your cup has to be empty. Bruce Lee says this. Your cup has to be empty for you to be able to take anything in. He tells the story of this Zen master who has this person that comes in to see them. And this student's like, oh, I want you to teach me. I want you to tell me about life. I want you to teach me all your teachings. But when the Zen master kind of takes him around and talks to him about things, the student's constantly like, I know that, I know this, I know that, and constantly butting in, putting in his own opinion and his own thoughts. So the Zen master, he goes and he pours him a cup of tea. And he keeps pouring, and he keeps pouring, and then the cup is overflowing. And the student's going, hey, stop, it's overflowing. So the Zen master says, exactly. If your cup is already filled, no more can be put inside it. And what he was trying to say there is that if you think you know it all, if you're not open to all these experiences, if you're not open to new knowledge, then you're not going to be able to get it. But another thing that Bruce Lee also says is that knowing is not enough. And, if we all did what we knew was good for us, then we'd all be jacked, we'd all be rich, we'd all have the perfect partner, we'd all be the perfect partner, we'd all be the perfect parent, we'd all live the ideal life. But unfortunately, life is not like that, and knowing is not enough. And I think that's the importance of actually experiencing things and actually having experiences and then reflecting on them and then coming back to things, I could have just kept going, around in this circle and not realizing and not coming back to what's actually important, coming back to the Atomic Habits book, which actually has some really great ideas, knowing is not enough because, we already know what's right for us, we already know what we should be doing. The problem is that we don't actually do it. And if we're not actually doing things, if we're not actually building towards something, if we're not actually utilizing our habits, then we're not going anywhere and we're not going to change. We're not going to build a healthier lifestyle or build a life that we want more for our future selves. And something that I've realized is that I've got this really big ego that I haven't really been aware of. And it's been built up since I was a young kid, people would see the potential in me. I was pretty athletic, I could move well, I was very smart, I caught on to things very easily, and I had just a really great memory, things would just sink into my head and stay there, and I would question all these things and ask all these kind of questions and that. And the way I got raised was kind of you're kind of gifted, you're special, we need to make the most out of this. And it just created this big expectation, And now that I've realized this, I see in myself, I can't do these little things, With Atomic Habits, I wasn't able to intake this book because my ego was too big, because I thought that I was too good to get 1% better every day. I was like, 1% better every day? Just do 2 push-ups? Just wake up 5 minutes earlier? That's stupid, I can work out for an hour and then I can go and do a soccer session for 2 hours. I've done that before. So why the fuck am I going to wake up 5 minutes earlier? That's just stupid. And my ego just piped up because people had fed this belief in me that, I was special, and to be special and to have these special kind of things, I had to go above and beyond the norm. I had to do more than what other people were doing, not 1% better every day. That idea just seemed so stupid to me. And that's why I didn't get in this book, you know. And that's why knowledge is not enough, because you can know things, but if you don't actually do it, if you don't actually have experiences that break the mold that you've been set in, that break open your experience to open yourself up, then you can't actually see the truth. You can't actually find the answers and know more about yourself and life. And there's really no end to this, you know. Like, I've tried so many times. It's taken me 3 years or more to get the lesson of Atomic Habits into my head, you know. Cool down my ego. You don't have to have these big expectations, you know. Like all these pressures that other people have put on me and like fed in me that have made it hard for me to just try to become 1% better every day. And this has just caused so many problems in my life. And it's kind of ironical that, you know, people saw so much in me and they thought that I was so great, so then they propped that up because they wanted me to reach my potential. But that just further reinforced my low self-esteem, my low self-worth, because I would try and reach that, I would try and be that without building up to it. I would just try and do all of these things, do too much, and then I'd burn out and just feel absolutely terrible, and then, you know, treat myself really badly because I felt like I deserved it, because everyone told me I had this great potential. But in my own experience with myself was so terrible. It was so dark. Our actions dictate our identity and our beliefs. By doing certain things, we kind of reinforce this identity and these beliefs around ourselves. And we've got to be very careful with what we're feeding our minds with, you know, what sort of actions and habits we're instilling and what that is telling and teaching us about ourselves. And also like the people that we're surrounding ourselves with, what they're putting in and how they're affecting us as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.